Hey everyone, Aaron here from Rudy Visuals. Hope everyone is doing well today. Now you may remember a couple years ago I reviewed this. This is the TourBox NEO, which is an awesome editing controller that helps you speed up and streamline creative work for creative professionals. Well, now TourBox have recently released their brand new model, which is the TourBox Lite, which is a more budget-friendly alternative. As a filmmaker and video editor, I'd love to show you how I've been using this awesome tool in DaVinci Resolve. Before we continue, full disclosure, TourBox did send us one of these to keep and have also helped with the production costs and to pay some of the electricity bill, but they haven't told us to say anything specific. And I am completely free to give my full opinion, but a big thank you to TourBox for making this video possible. Now these days I use DaVinci Resolve pretty much 95% of the time, but it is compatible with a range of software. Here's a quick list of compatible software that you can use this with. I do also use this for some light Photoshop editing as well, together with an editing tablet, and it's been great for that too. So first thing I want to do is open up the TourBox software, and here you'll see all of your buttons mapped out and what functions it serves. So it's great that it has this preset loaded up for you. You can of course map out your buttons however you like. You can even save custom presets and even download from other people on their website. As you can see, there is a lot of software compatible, which is awesome. So let's open up a project and show you how I've been using this thing. So usually I use the TourBox Lite with my mouse and keyboard. I suppose you could use this entirely by itself for like cutting, and it really does come down to your personal preference, but I find that the fastest way is by just using all three at once. So this is a video that I'm currently working on. It's a long interview video, so I'm at a stage where I need to just literally go through the footage, cut it down, mark it up, and prepare for the next stage. And this is where I find a device like the TourBox Lite has really been super useful in my workflow. So I'm just going to showcase how I would use this in DaVinci Resolve on the edit panel of my timeline. So on the bottom right, I have these two buttons here, the tall and shorts. So the short button is just used to pause and play,
but also part of the more convey part.
Like so. And the tall button is used to delete, which I've actually changed to ripple delete, which I find more useful. So for example, if I zoom in my timeline and I want to cut out this gap here and here, literally just press one click of the button and it does the ripple delete for me. So the main knob in the middle, I can use this to navigate through the frames. And I find this is really helpful to find those little gaps, to find those little ums and ahs, and make those sort of fine-tuned cuts that I need to make. If I hold the short button and the knob at the same time, that way I can scrub through the footage much quicker. And if I hold down the long and rotate the knob, it helps to navigate through to the next clip. So I can just quickly jump from clip to clip. And pressing the knob just lets me add markers, so I find this really useful when I'm cutting through footage and I just want to mark down an important section or something that's going to be useful for me later on down the line. So that's really useful. So holding the top button and rotating lets me just move through the timeline from left to right, like so, which you can do on a mouse if you have an additional scroll wheel, but just having that extra ability to do it on the TourBox just gives you that little bit nice of extra feature as well. So the scroll button here on the left side, I can just use that to zoom in and out of my timeline like so. And if I actually press on the scroll button, it just zooms the timeline to fit on my screen. Holding down the tall and scrolling buttons lets me adjust the track height that I'm on. So again, that's really useful for me. And the top button lets me use the razor function. So if I'm on a timeline, just press that and it quickly gives me that razor function. So I really like using the razor function in conjunction with the button there to let me ripple delete really quickly. Another feature that's really handy for me is using the top and tall button to copy, and then using top and short to paste. So again, something that I do find myself using quite a lot. Then you have these two buttons here, C1 and C2. These can be used to undo or to redo. So with that, I'm just going to cut this video down, ready for the next stage of editing. So that's a general overview of how I've been using the TourBox to navigate through my timeline and edit a video project. Now I'm still using my mouse to help navigate and using the keyboard for like more complex functions, but leaving my left hand on the TourBox Lite to help with some of those common functions like cutting and deleting and adding markers and so forth, and like using the knob to help navigate in conjunction with the mouse. Now for me, I really like that the Tourbox Lite gives you physical controls for commonly used shortcuts and functions within your video editing software. This may sound like a small thing, but having those like dedicated tactile physical buttons and controls kind of just makes the experience more enjoyable, it's more easy, and it's a lot more streamlined. It's a bit like when you use a simple point and shoot camera and then suddenly switch to like a film camera with all those like dedicated knobs and buttons that you can feel. It almost makes you feel like you're more engaged with what you are doing. And you know, sometimes cutting through like long footage can be quite monotonous, which this definitely does help to solve. The edit panel within Resolve, that's typically where you are doing, you know, more of the kind of mundane tasks, like kind of like preparing your ingredients for the cooking and for the like fancier stuff. And this is where I think devices like the Tourbox Lite can really help make the process more enjoyable and more fun. Now, the Tourbox Lite is very affordable at around $95, but if you feel like stepping up, the Tourbox NEO is a nice upgrade with a few more buttons and knobs for even more customizability, which will set you back around $170. If you want a fully wireless controller with the bonus of some cool colors as well, then the Tourbox Elite is what you want, but it is more expensive at around $270. Now at this point, you might be saying, well, this kind of seems like an unnecessary add-on. I'm already happy just using a mouse and keyboard. And what I would say to that is, yes, you don't need it, but it's such a nice luxury, like quality of life improvement to have. It's like when cars went from like wind down windows to electric windows. It just makes it that much easier, that much quicker. And in the words of a certain Kevin Malone,
many small time make big time.
once you have it, you kind of just like miss not having it. I also just love how comfortable it is to use. It feels really, really well made, like genuinely, and the buttons and knobs feel very high quality, and it also feels very tactile. As a fan of like custom keyboards, I definitely appreciate that it's very satisfying to use. You can also use this together with tablets and pen displays if you're doing like photo editing or digital illustration. So there's really lots of ways of integrating the Tourbox Lite into your setup and your workflow. And FYI guys, if you are interested in picking up one of these for yourself alongside some of the other models, you can use the code RudyVisuals to receive $5 off your purchase. There's links in the description box down below. Now, in terms of things that I don't like, honestly, I think the only major hurdle with this, and to be honest, any kind of like editing controller, is just that there is a learning curve. It's not gonna make you faster, it's not gonna make your workflow faster overnight. It will take some time for your muscle memory to adjust. And there will be periods where you might even find this, it's gonna slow you down initially. It's gonna be frustrating, but after that, and for me, it didn't take that long. I say after a couple of hours, I pretty much got used to it, and that will definitely vary from person to person, of course, but I did find that having all those buttons, such distinctive different shapes and sizes, it made it a little bit easier for me to adjust to it. And after a while, it just kind of, something just clicked, and now it just feels a bit more natural. It's like an extension of your hand. I don't even have to even look down on it anymore. But again, that will vary from person to person. Now, I'm a big fan of anything that has the potential to make your work easier, quicker, and more efficient. In the past, I have used like video editing adapted keyboards, controllers, like a bunch of dials and custom buttons, and they can get very, very expensive. I'm looking at you, Blackmagic. So I think it is great that Tourbox have devices that give you a similar type of experience, but without the huge costs. And I really enjoyed using the Tourbox Lite. Personally, I think it's awesome. And because I was used to having the Neo before, I found it quite easy to adapt to. And now I basically take it out every time I need to cut down a big video. So for $95, it's also very affordable. If you've never tried something like this before, I would definitely recommend checking it out, even if you're a bit unsure. The Neo and Elite do have some extra features, i.e. like more buttons and knobs, as well as being wireless, but I think if it's your first time and you wanna kind of see if this is gonna work for you, the Lite is a fantastic option, and for me, it gets a big thumbs up. Anyway guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Do let me know if you think this is something that you'd use for yourself, or if you're using something similar, let me know down there in the comment section below. A big thank you to Tourbox once again for making this video possible. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff that the YouTube algorithm likes. And you can also follow us on socials down here. And as always, I will see you on the next video. So thanks very much for watching. Peace.